how many people have you met today that you did not know yesterday? Because that is your future pipeline. That is where your business is going to go. How's everyone doing? FUBCON, you feeling it? FUBCON, you feeling it? Okay, great, awesome. Really quick, let's do something together. Do I have your permission to get nerdy? Can we do that? Do we want to dive a little bit into data together? I know a lot of you may think, oh boy, here we go, boring presentation about data. But here's the truth, data equals dollars. In fact, there's millions of dollars that you're sitting on and not taking advantage of. So I'm gonna give you some step-by-step principles and guidance on how to uncover all the dollars that are hidden inside your organization, hidden inside your business. So let's kick things off. First, we're gonna do a little thing called the Creator Challenge because there's a data point here. In fact, this is the data point. I've seen too many entrepreneurs, too many real estate agents taking out this little moneymaker and showing a house, scanning a room, and playing some boring music instead of telling me a story, right? How many of you are guilty of just coming into a house and showing some boring room and then putting some whatever music the app will give you, you just throw them? I see a couple of you. You can admit it. So here's what we're gonna do. 70% increase in conversions. There's your first data point if you're taking notes. 70% increase in conversions when a human being sees your face, tells a story. So that's exactly what we're gonna do right now. Everyone out of the seats, I'm gonna come make content with you. Can we do this together? Grab this moneymaker, grab your phone, stand up out of your seats, let's go. We're gonna make content. You have 30 seconds to tell me a story about what you love about FUBCON. Now here's why you're doing it, because it's law of magnetism. If any of you are big fans of the laws of business, law of magnetism is you're here learning, you're invested in yourself, and so anybody watching you wants to be a part of that journey with you. They're thinking, it's FOMO, they're thinking, how are they able to go do this, but I'm sitting back here not bettering myself and educating myself. So pull out your phone, grab your phone, let's make content together. I see some of you are like live streaming. Are we live streaming on this one? Are we live on Instagram? Hey, what's up, IG? Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, don't be shy, 30 seconds. Record the video, go straight to Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever platform you want. Don't be shy, here we go. I'm gonna come make content with you guys. Here we are, we're live at FUBCON right now. What's your name, sir?
Chuck Honnebach.
Is this the best presentation so far?
It is absolutely the greatest.
I paid him to say that. Okay, keep going, guys, keep going. 30 seconds. I'm gonna jump in some here. Let me jump in some.
Buckwise, everyone.
Front row seats. This person is committed. She's committed. Where are you? Where are you? That's great. Let me get in some other content back here. Here we go.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
All right, here we are at FUBCON.
Hi.
Hi. This is the best convention.
Here,
oh,
now do it.
that would be.
Hit record.
Here we go. Okay, at FUBCON.
That's right. And
This
we're
is
learning,
amazing.
we're growing, and we're connecting. So you should make the connection DM. Perfect. Okay. Okay, wrap it up, wrap it up. This is great. All right, I know some of you are saying that was scary. I don't like doing that. I'd rather post photos. I don't like to talk. Remember that data point. If your nurtures are text messages and you're just sending out blanket text, emails, and that's it, you're not adding a video element, you're missing a huge reason to convert. You're missing a huge opportunity. So here's just a quick background on my journey. I'm gonna give you another data point. I'm just gonna load you with data points, and all these data points incrementally are going to discover new dollars in your industry. So here we go. My background is traditional broadcast, TV and radio. I started at iHeartRadio when I was 17 years old. I actually moved to Los Angeles when I was 20. I did a show with a guy named Ryan Seacrest. We had a syndicated radio show to over 47 markets across the country. This was pre-Idol, so he wasn't quite as popular at the time, but we were on a station here called Star 98.7. Anyway, did that for like 15 years. What I learned was content creation, building a community. I learned the ability to create content like what we just did, that makes connections to other human beings. Because ultimately, people ask me all the time, they're like, Buck, what's marketing mean? Marketing is your ability to connect with more people, get those people to trust you, and get those conversions into your business. Now, that experience has to be so good that we retain them, another data point. Right? So that was what I was doing in TV and radio. I was learning the craft of content creation. Then I built my own marketing agency. There was a need. Nobody knew the Facebook. How many of you were on the Facebook? What did you have to be on the Facebook over here? A college ID. Yeah, you had to have a college email in order to get on the Facebook. And everybody was trying to hack it, trying to figure it out. So I started an agency. I didn't know what I was doing, much like some of you started a business, and I didn't know how to do taxes. I didn't know how to hire people. I didn't know how to fire people, but I figured it out, right? Using other people's money. I learned how to build a business, scaled the agency, sold the agency, started working with big agencies. And then about 3 years ago, before I started my third agency, I worked as a chief marketing officer at Grant Cardone's Cardone Ventures. It was a business management company. And so all along my journey, what I learned was creativity. Here's a quick snapshot of everywhere that I've worked. In the big agency space, you'll see a lot of people like the stories from my big brand experience. You'll see Starbucks, Nike, Google. So I have everything from like the small solopreneur all the way up to enterprise, massive business. And there's some data points that we're going to talk about in that growth trajectory that are going to help you no matter what level of business you're at right now. But it was really the data. It was right around 2013. See that jump from owning my agency? I was working with like Major League Baseball, Valvoline Oil, a lot of like smaller organizations. And I made that jump into enterprise, and what I learned was data was everything. Like data is why people compete, and I'm gonna show you what that means. Here's just a snapshot of my background. It's very weird, it's very eclectic. It's got a lot of different, you see me and Jason Derulo. You see Jason, Backstreet Boys. I don't know, how many of you are excited for NSYNC to come back? Did you see they're back? Yeah? Oh, okay, all right. I'll see you there. I should mention that currently, I own Closing Day Agency. We help real estate agents, entrepreneurs all around the world grow and scale their business. We speed up time. We use a lot of data, and we get results. That's what we're focused on. Some of our notable clients you may know in this room, EXP. We work with Glenn Sanford on his personal brand, Ryan Serhant from Bravo TV's $1 Million Listing. In fact, I leave today to go out to Miami to do another event with Ryan. So that's one of our clients. We help with his education systems. We help Ryan with a lot of his speaking ventures as well. So how many of you, big question as we go deeper into data, how many of you want to make more money? Okay, I'm gonna talk just to this part of the room. Let me ask one more time. How many of you want to make more money? Okay, I'm in the right room. So here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna understand the 3 cycles of business. You've got connect, convert, and cultivate. What we just did when we were creating content, we're trying to connect. We're trying to drive an emotion, a behavior, right? And those stale videos with music are never gonna do that. We need to develop relationships. An easy data point for you to think about as we turn data into dollars today is how many people have you met today? And this answer might be good for you today. Normally, when you're back in your office or back in your hometown or your micro market, might be a little bit different. How many people have you met today that you did not know yesterday? Not how many people did you meet today, how many people did you meet that you did not know yesterday? Because that is your future pipeline. That is where your business is going to go. If you have an entire day where you grind it out and you meet no one new, then in a month or 2 months or 3 months when there's no closings or there's less business or less recruitment into your team, I can ask you that question 3 months ago, how many people did you meet that you did not know the day before? It's that simple. So what do we have to do? We have to connect. There's a lot of ways to do it. I'm not against door knocking, right? But I like smarter, not harder. I definitely would rather meet lots of people all at once without having to go I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. I don't want to be in 100-degree heat banging on doors, and I've done it. I've done it before. So then the next piece is convert. We got to get them to trust us. The third data point that you really got to look at is the cultivate, the nurture. Here's another data point for you. 65% of the result of any campaign is in the nurture, in the cultivate. Everybody thinks, bucks in marketing. Let's get some amazing Facebook ads. Let's start a YouTube channel or a podcast. We're going to get so many leads and we're going to convert. That's the connect. It's actually very easy to connect. It's somewhat simple to create flow and attention and awareness. It doesn't take a rocket science to build content and create. What's hard is getting people to jump from one phase of the user journey to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next cycle. That's the hard part. It's the convert part that's hard. And the way you do that is nurture. So the connect is 20% of your effort. The rest is all in the nurture. How are you nurturing? And that's what your CRM is great at doing. Quick overview, because I like to simplify. I want us to all be speaking the same language when we talk about marketing. You have your strategic tools. So look at this first pillar, if you're looking at these screens. This first pillar is strategy. You cannot execute without your strategic data points. You cannot execute, otherwise you can do it. It's just called shooting from the hip. And I want you to be very, very intentional about what you create, where you create it, and why you're creating it. That way you have data that suggests that it's working or it's not. That's what we're tracking, the information of what's working and what's not. And there's 1,000 KPIs I could go through from marketing to business. If we had more time, we could do a full day session on this. Maybe we should talk to Dan about doing a full day data session where all we do is talk about important KPIs. Would you guys come back for that? Yeah. All right, you're in. Okay, free ticket, whenever it is. So brand house, persona, strategy, your KPIs, these are all important things you need. Your CRM, your tech stack, your nurture cycles, your automation. If you don't have these things developed and you're like, I'm gonna start a podcast, you're flying blind. Not saying you can't create success. I see a lot of people do it. A lot of times, the kids get into this business and they start to create with no strategy, no data, not even a CRM, and they will close deals out of pure action because they're just taking so much action. But this room I know knows this. You're gonna hit a lid. And you can only go so far with pure action. You need strategy, and data is the key to that strategy. Everything you see to the right side of that strategy pillar is where we go. So now that we have who we are as a brand, how we're different in the marketplace, what's our position? Who's the target persona? How do we relate to them? What value propositions have we set up for the target? Once we have all this information, now we get to go play. I call it the playground. And where are we gonna play? 3 places: owned, paid, and earned. Those are the 3 places we play. And those are all the platforms. You can see them. Your own website, your phone numbers, emails, you own those. Those are owned. Paid, social, apps, places where you are attracting eyeballs and ears. And to get access to those things, you have to pay somebody. Zuckerberg didn't really care if we connected with our old college friends, right? He wanted you to pay to reach all of them, not just 3% of them. You guys know that data point, right? Organically, how many people you reach if you don't pay these platforms? On average, 3 to 8%. A lot of variables as to how you reach them or where you reach them. This is why people like things like TikTok. That percentage is much higher. You can go to 15, 20% organically on a platform like TikTok. Instagram, Facebook, very difficult. If all you're doing is posting, the algorithm says, we're only gonna show this to 3%. So think about it, look at your following right now. If you have 1,000 followers, 3% might see it. And by the way, if they're passive in nature and you didn't drive an emotion out of them, guess what? They don't like it, they don't comment, they don't share it, then nobody sees it. Instagram says, this must not be very good. Don't show it to anybody else. So here's a little treat for you. I want this to be interactive. take a shot of this QR code. This is a live data audit, so I didn't have time to go through all the pieces of the strategy, all the pieces of your platforms and your own paid earned. This is just a great assessment for you. You can do this later. Take a shot now, do this later. But this is a way for you to see, where am I at? Where do I exist with what I have versus what I don't have? Most of the clientele we work with, most of the entrepreneurs, CEOs, thought leaders, what keeps them up at night is not knowing. They may be doing really well. Their revenue may be above projections, but they don't know how, and they don't know how to recreate it, and they don't know how to fortify it and diversify it. So a lot of what we're doing is building your data strategy, understanding exactly why it doesn't work or why it does. And if it doesn't, how do we optimize it? And if it does, how do we scale that effort? So take a scan of that little QR code, fill it out later if you want. We'll keep rolling. I want to give you a really fun data point. So I spent 2 years working on everybody's favorite fall beverage, pumpkin spice latte. Any PSL lovers? I hear a couple. Couple PSL lovers in here. So Howard Schultz comes to us and he says, Buck, we have an issue. The marketplace is extremely crowded. We were the first original pumpkin spice coffee beverage, but now Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, Yankee Candle, Durex condom, I think she's tried it before. So every single brand came out with some sort of pumpkin spice something. So how do we get back to the core persona and dominate this marketplace again? And the answer is back to your strategic tools, understanding the data points of your consumer. Not, 25, 34, female, male, lives in this zip code, burp, burp, burp. We've all heard this, right? But intimately knowing exactly who your target is. Why? Why do we need those data points? To make better decisions, to understand where they are, not to force conversations on them that they're not having, but join the ones they're actually already interested in. Solving the very specific challenges that we know are important to them. Understanding them so well that we are able to dictate their behavior and drive a new emotion that drives another action. That's the importance of knowing your consumer. So when we walked into Howard Schultz's office, we had spent 6 months and $2 million to work on who is the pumpkin spice latte drinker. And we said, Howard, today we're going to introduce to you Heather. And Heather is excited because today in Los Angeles, the temperature has dropped just below 71 degrees. And you know what that means. Fall is on the way, which means she is excited for the first sip of the season. But before she does that, she's going to call her friend Jennifer and ask if she'd like to join in this adventure to have that first sip of the season. And she's pumped because her little Ugg boots are sitting up in the closet. She wasn't able to wear them last year because she got them on layaway, right? Because she's still paying off a little bit of college debt, but she knows this year she's gonna wear them proudly, and trust me when I say this, you're gonna see them on Instagram. So she takes those boots, she heads down to her local Starbucks. She's got these beautiful fingerless little mittens that she's gonna wear, and she's gonna take a picture where she finds the perfect leaf changing colors, right? And we're all gonna see that Heather is excited for this pumpkin spice. But here's what we really learned. Heather wants to be in her micro group on the good side of FOMO. She wants to be the one that's teaching her friends what's new. Even though she may not be a quote unquote influencer, she is in her group. And she wants to be the first. And if we make her the first, she's committed, she's loyal, and she'll spend more. So what we did is dark posted Heather that year, and we said, hey, this beverage isn't out for 30 days, but we're gonna give it to you if you use this code word and take it into your local Starbucks. 22% increase in sales the year we did that. Before the beverage launched to the public, 22% increase in sales from the year before. Think about that. That's called wide net or spearfishing. When you say, this is agent specific, but when you say, if you're looking to buy, if you're looking to sell, if you're looking to invest, are you an empty nester? Did you just get a divorce? That's wide net. When you talk to everybody, you're talking to who? Nobody. That's why you have to narrow in on exactly who it is you're talking to and be the expert in that space. Understanding the consumer is the data point you want to do and you want to invest in the most. So if you're saying to me, Buck, I don't have 6 months and $2 million to research, easy exercise. Long list of questions. In fact, DM me on Instagram if you want this list of questions. Simple questions you can ask any consumer you've already worked with. Some people call it a survey. Look, don't blast surveys to your audience. That's transactional in nature. You're going to lose them. That's not a good nurture cycle, right? But you want to be asking the right questions. My question is, what are the top 5 questions you could ask any one of your current consumers? By the way, the ideal consumer, not the one that was horrible to deal with, that complained the entire time, that didn't spend the amount that you needed or wasn't in the range that you wanted. I'm talking about, and even if this is agent attraction, if maybe you're building a team and you're not even talking about production. Who is that person you want on your team? Who is that client that you want to drive more revenue? Interview them. Get very specific. Get very niche with them. Ask them simple questions. Talk me through a day in the life. When do you wake up? Why do you wake up? And who makes decisions with you? And when do you start exploration? What platforms are you on? Get those questions. What we're looking for is this. You guys know what sample size is, right? The amount of people that we ask those questions to. We're looking for a trend line. We're looking for, wow, out of the top 50 clients that I really, if I had another 100 of those, I would be doing really well. They all said this. Study those points. Mind map it. You guys know what mind mapping is? Take a whiteboard and write every answer down and then go, wow, they all say this. Those are how you, so what we found with Heather is they all wanted to be first, right? They all wanted to be the first to know in their little group of influence. And that was the data point that drove a 22% increase in sales. So interesting. You're sitting on a data point right now with your persona, your target, your future target. They could be driving an increase of 20%. I don't know, is 20% a lot for you if you did 20% better than last year? Yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's get really serious about this. Here's another quick example. If you study the 2022 revenue of these two behemoths, Walmart, $572 billion, Amazon, $469 billion. Now, context and contrast, which one's the data winner? Which one's the data winner on revenue? Walmart, right? Walmart's ahead. But let's look at contrast. Growth from the year before. Now who's winning? Amazon. Amazon is expected to take over Walmart in the next 3 years. Why? Well, number one, this number is a little bit unfair because there's more context. COVID hit. People didn't want to go to brick and mortar, am I right? So we know that helped. But there's another reason that they continue to grow even today. Anybody know what that word is? Convenience. Give me another one. Somebody said my love language. Say it louder. Data. Data. It's data. So Amazon knows more about you than you know about you. My 4-year-old, she's out of her, or 3-year-old was out of her diapers. They're sending diapers to my house. I didn't even know we were out. Right? They understand the behavior of the consumer so well that they're able to make it convenient. They're able to make the experience so flawless and so easy. And so that's why Amazon is going to continue to crush Walmart. How many of you have been to a Walmart? It's okay. A couple of Heathers in here. Ew, I would never shop there. A couple of Heathers, I see you. They don't have a Starbucks there. I would never go there, right? But seriously, we've all been to a Walmart once or twice in our life, right? And let me ask you this. What did they ask you when you checked out? Nothing. If you're lucky, how's your day? Right? They collected no info for so long. Amazon has over 800 data points on you. You think they invented Alexa to make your life easier. They just want to know what you're doing inside your house. They're getting more data. They know you have kids and what songs they listen to and what time you set your alarm. Right? They know what you're cooking, what you're not cooking, what you're searching, where you're traveling. They know a lot of information. So this is the importance of the data of understanding the core persona. Understand your target. Because we want smart, scalable growth, so that we can leverage that data to automate the connections to drive bigger results. It's very easy for me to walk into this room, say hello, sir, how are you? What's your name?
Kellen.
Nice to meet you, Kellen. Are you recording on that mic right now?
Yeah,
That looks cool.
fine,
Very nice. I want a cut of whatever you're posting. No, I'm kidding. It's easy for me and Kellen to develop a relationship, but how do I do this at scale? How do I do this with everybody? And how do I do it in a shorter time span? That's how we squeeze the pipeline. You gotta automate the data. So collecting the data is the first piece. Automating the data is the second. So a lot of companies will bring us in, and the first thing we do is we clean up their data. Data can be very dirty. Our job is to clean it up so that there's clarity in what you have. Let's talk about some of those. Marketing is filled with acronyms, and a lot of marketers who don't know what they're doing will try to confuse you by throwing out KPIs and CRMs and ROIs and LFGs and TTYLs, right? But here's the truth. Let's break it down. Let's make it simple. Let's talk about these things. First, two of my favorite data points when we talk about KPIs in marketing. MQL, SQL. Very simple. They are either a marketing qualified lead or a sales qualified lead. A marketing qualified lead means the machine qualified them for us, did the heavy lifting, filtered out the noise, the unqualified, and it did it all while you slept. An MQL is your best friend, because that is where you work smarter, not harder. An MQL is the machine that we built, the nurture system, that brings you the opportunity faster and gets rid of the things that are not the opportunity, right? Follow-up boss is great at being able to do that. SQL is because MQL has a margin of error. People say they click that they want this house in this range, and then we find out they haven't even got pre-approved, right? Like they said they were pre-approved, but they said it, but they were wrong, they didn't. So an SQL is a human being qualified. So when you're talking about your marketing, your flow, you have your MQL and your SQL, marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead. And those are important things to have in your system. So I would ask you today, what is your MQL versus your SQL? There's a percentage in between those numbers, right? 80% of my MQLs are SQL. The other 20% are not. Interesting. Why are the other 20% not at SQL? Let's study the data. This is where guys, I'm telling you, this is where money is dripping out of your faucet. Not understanding why 20% are wasting time or incorrectly being nurtured into the wrong area. Understanding how we can increase 80% to 90, 90% to 100. How do we increase the ability to target better and have higher qualified leads? It's in the granular innovation of your ability to understand what your system is truly creating for you. The ultimate KPI is the conversion. And your dirty data is going to lose millions. Now, maybe you just started your journey. I'm going to tell you, I have people, they come to me, they go, Buck, look, I'm not Ryan Serhant. We work with one of the largest brokerages in Dubai, one of our clients. And they're big, they're massive companies. We have small entrepreneurs that come to us and they say, can I work with you? And I say, absolutely. We don't discriminate on size. We work with a lot of solopreneurs who are just building their business from scratch. And they say, yeah, but listen, I'm embarrassed. I haven't even logged in to my follow-up boss yet. Like, I don't even know how to use it, right? I love that. I'm an artist. You have a canvas. I promise you it costs a lot of money when I got to go back with somebody who didn't build it right and their data is dirty. It costs a lot of money to go backwards, time and money. I'd rather you have a fresh start. If you're sitting here going, I don't have any of this, this is a lot. This is talking a lot about data and automation and nurture sequences and shooting videos and adding those to the sequence. I'm telling you, if you don't have it, let's build it. It's such a fun, exciting process to go step by step. And every time you add a little bit, how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. Just add. Where in the sequence is going to create the most opportunity? Start there. Prioritize the list. We don't have to do this overnight. If we did one thing that relieved your time and helped scale and grow faster from your data, what would be the first thing we would do to fix the faucet, to fix the leak? What's the first thing we're gonna do? Because you're gonna lose millions in the long run. If you build that business and ignore the data the entire time, when you get to the end, and we get businesses that are doing 10 million, 20 million revenue a year, and they could be doing 50, but they ignored the data. They ignored it for so long, and they were happy with the 10, 20 million. So the other piece I wanna make here is, you own it. You own your business. You own the data. So invest in it. You're here today. I know I don't have to beat you guys over the head. You're here. This is the group I love. Because you're saying, I will spend and invest to grow. True? I know this is the group. That's why I didn't come out here and knock you over the head. Sometimes you go to these other events where you got to tell people like, even when the market's down, even times are tough, and like you guys are past that. You are like, I'm invested, I'm ready to roll. What's the edge? Give me the thing and I'll do it. I know you guys, everyone in this room is an action taker. So you own it. That data is yours. Invest in it like you invest in yourself. Invest into Follow Up Boss. Invest into that system. What's the best CRM in the world, by the way? Okay, a lot of you actually did give me the right answer. But you know the other answer, right? The one you use. Because Follow Up Boss isn't going to do anything for you if you don't use it and you don't use it correctly. So invest in time in doing that, whatever it is you're using. CRM, by the way, when you talk about data, CRM is not a marketing tool. In fact, I've worked with many COOs that label it in their P&L as an operational tool. Because your CRM is the brain of the organization. When I do acquisitions or I do due diligence on a company that's selling, from a marketing and sales perspective, the first thing I ask for is access to the data. The very first thing I'm gonna look at is the brain of the organization. I'm gonna look at how clean that data is. Because if somebody else is evaluating that company and telling me it's worth that much, the data doesn't lie. The data always tells the truth. I did due diligence on a really big media company, and I looked at the millions of hits they were getting on their website. And that's part of the evaluation was we get millions of people hitting our site every single month. And then I looked at the back end of the site of where they come from. And I look at the webhooks. And I look at the conversions into their CRM, and I see a massive drop from the website into the CRM. And then I look to see where the drop is coming from, and it's coming from China. And then I think, why are people, this is a US-based company, why is China so heavily influenced? And they had hired a vendor a year or 2 years before to come in and help increase organic SEO. And what they did is they placed luxury products and items hidden on the back-end webhooks of their website to drive fictional hits to their website. They didn't know. The data doesn't lie. The company was evaluated at a very lower stance because they weren't actually customers, right? They were inflated. We call them vanity data. You guys know what vanity data is? Vanity data is likes, shares, follows. They feel good. They look good. But how much money did you get? Those are vanity datas. So by the way, I want to mention, I like vanity data. It's a crystal ball. It tells you what could come. It's a momentum driver. It's a credibility piece. It's attention, it's awareness. It's good. I like it. It's good. But at the end of the day, if we don't know how to convert vanity into KPI metrics, drive conversions, right, then we're going to lose in the long run. So it's not how many follows, it's are they the right follow? And how do we convert them from those follows? So your CRM is your business brain. Couple of rules of ROI. One, daily accountability. If you ever work with a vendor, an agency, or anybody that says, and we do monthly reporting, your competitor has already crushed you if you're getting reporting every month. you've already lost. When you are looking at the data inside your business, have the accountability to look at it every single day. If not, 3 times a day, hourly. Accountability. Somebody say hallelujah. I saw that. I saw you. Praise Jesus. Speak, about to get evangelistic up in here, okay? Look at the daily data and have your team accountable. Have your team accountable for it. You're not the only one accountable. How many of you have teams? Let me see. A lot of you. How many of you are on a team? Manage up. If your owner is and your leader of your organization is not looking at the data, bring the data to them. That's value. Show them what that data says because it doesn't lie. So daily accountability. Invest in the business. Invest in the data set. Always A/B test. People say, Buck, a lot of times they'll introduce me somewhere and they'll go, marketing at Starbucks, worked for Nike. Marketing genius, Buck Wise. And I hate that. First of all, it's cheesy. But 2, no one is a marketing genius. Okay? Do I have a lot of experience? Yes. Right? Have I failed a lot? Yeah. That's why people hire me, because I won't do it again. I already failed enough. But here's the truth. Every day the algorithms change. Every day a new platform launches, then they change the name of the platform. And then the targets move, and then the targets discussion, right? How many of you remember when Instagram started launching their own platform called Threads? How many of you jumped on? How many of you were still there? One sole survivor. I'm kidding, I'm joking. I'm sure you're an influencer on there, just tearing it up. But here's the point. By the way, I will say, invest heavily in every new platform. And go all in on every new platform. Because when a platform, I'll teach you this very quickly. This is off script for just a second, but I think this is important. When a new platform launches, be absolutely first and drive as much content as possible. Here's why. When they launch a platform, they open remember we were talking 3%, 4% on Facebook? When they launch a new one, they open that algorithm up. They don't know either. And they're just like, let everybody see it, see what happens, right? They're not advertising yet. Advertising will come once they figure out the targeting. They don't know the targeting because it's new. So when a TikTok, when a Threads, when something new, a new live streaming platform, jump on and take advantage of it. Here's why. Threads might go away completely, it might not. But you are going to develop relationships in those platforms when you get on there. And here's what we know. They never stay in the same place. The next place they go is, well, I'm going to follow his Instagram, or I'm going to follow her on YouTube, or I'm going to reach out. When you develop a real relationship anywhere, they go with you. They port over. So develop them. Just take advantage of them. I worked for Grant Cardone. He was the #1 live streamer on Meerkat. You guys remember Meerkat? It was one of the first Ustream, Meerkat. It was like people were going, why would anybody watch somebody live on a video? This is weird, when they launched Meerkat. He took advantage of it. He was the #1 streamer in the world on Meerkat. 3 years later, Meerkat wiped away. Watch his YouTube numbers. His YouTube numbers when Meerkat dropped they all went to YouTube. He says in his book, Be Obsessed or Be Average, I took Meerkat and I ripped its spine out, right? He's a little aggressive, I know, some of you think that. But he did. He said he went all in on it, and he took advantage of it. He squeezed it dry, dropped him into YouTube, and said bye to Meerkat. That's why I say go all in on something. But A/B test. Always test what works, what doesn't. I'm a data marketer. I'm not telling you I know unequivocally this is exactly what's going to work. I'm going to tell you this is the absolute best guess based on the data and information I had. And so I'm going to get you that much closer to the bullseye. But I'm going to have you test 1, 2, 3, 4 options because we don't know which one's going to do the best. But we know based on the persona, the challenge, the value proposition, the target, the platform, this might be the best bet. And you should be doing the same thing. Never go all in on one idea. Take that idea, split it into 6 branches, and A, B, C, D, E test it. Constantly test it. Go back to #1, daily accountability. Which one's working? Stop this one, increase this one. Always increase in that daily data. And then organize your approach. Where there is a lack of clarity, There was always confusion in business. Where there is a lack of your clarity in what is happening, where it's happening, why it's happening, there's always going to, think about it. Think about a moment in your business right now where there was a confusing moment, right? There was a lack of clarity. That's always what it is. So let's get clear, let's get organized. Go back to your data audit, fill out your data audit. What do you have, what do you not have, what do you need? Smart, scalable growth is leveraging that data, again, to automate connections that drive results. And that's why data is so important. So here's my promise to you. Follow me on Instagram, and let's be friends. Let's connect, but here's the rule. I'm gonna give you one rule. If you connect, if you follow me right now, and I'm gonna see it, I'm gonna watch it. I'm literally gonna watch this in the next hour. I see a follow, a follow, a follow, a follow. And you don't introduce yourself via video, 70% increase when they see your eyes. If you don't introduce yourself, I'm gonna call you out, okay? Let's not be passive. We're here to connect. Let's make it happen. This is called muscle memory. My mom, she texts me, you never call. I'm like, DM me, Mom, I'll shoot you a video. Muscle memory, right? Let's get in the habit. Talk to everybody through video. The conversions are insane, I promise you. I see it all the time. It's one of the first things I do. Yeah, businesses will bring us in. We go on these high conversion, we go through the data. We're gonna do all, and I'm like, but wait, first, can we start using video? 90% of the traffic this year on the internet was what? Video. 90% of the internet traffic this year was video. So that's why I'm saying, let's make the introduction, let's make the connection. I might know somebody you want to connect with. You probably know somebody that I want to connect with. Let's start a relationship together, guys. That's been my time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.